Welcome to Sunday Afternoon Porch Sitting, where laid-back conversations come to life. I'm Will.
And I'm Ryan, and we're inviting you to join us as we unwind and explore the essence of life in each episode. Well, Will, it's good to be back.
Yeah, it is great to be back.
Yeah, so it was such an exciting episode that we had last week. I think we've got Kick Nelly coming back this evening.
We do have Kick Nelly coming back this evening.
What's up, Kick?
Oh, no, you got to hold it.
You got to hold it.
You got to hold it down. It's not one of those things. Calm down. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Circa. That was me on trombone.
That was what?
Me on trombone.
So you played trombone.
Yes, in that clip. That was my claim to fame. Thanks, Zoom.
I apologize. We didn't have any intro music queued up for you. Some walkout music. But I guess this is like technically the second.
You can't do an intro like twice.
For the other one? Okay, you're right.
So,
right.
Anyway, that's kind of where it's at. So, Will, on this, wonderful Sunday afternoon, I read a news article this week that was kind of interesting.
Okay.
Do we want to start here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so there's a guy in England that...
There's a guy in England?
Yes, and he was driving under the influence of Weller or something similar to that, and he actually pulled over, and he did the right thing. He called the police and told them that he was too intoxicated to drive.
Okay.
And he got arrested.
So
The end.
He was driving home from the pub.
Yeah, and like
said, "Whoa, I cannot see straight.
Cannot do this." And so I'm sure the police walked up and they're like, and he's like, "Hello, mate. I called you."
And so yeah, Bobby, I'm glad you showed up. Listen,
thank God you're here.
think I've had a bit too much of a nip, and the lines are all blurred here.
I was driving on the right side of the road.
The terrible thing is that their lines are zaggy anyway in the UK. So I mean, I don't know if you could really tell that you're impaired or not, because it's always like you're driving intoxicated.
But anyway. just the mindset of, hey, I'm going to do the right thing, pull over. Why didn't he call somebody in his family and say, hey, come pick me up? I can't remember their numbers, so I'm going to dial. What's their version of 911? It's
999.
Is that what
999? I don't know.
Okay. Have you seen the IT crowd?
I have not.
Okay, so it's this. I think y'all were talking about British comedy. Weren't you talking about British comedy a couple episodes ago?
Yes, we were. We were talking about it being absurd.
So it
tongue in cheek.
It is British. It's a British comedy show, and it's got
the IT crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it took place in like California or something.
No, it's and they all work in IT at this company.
Yeah.
And every time they get a call, their first response is, "Did you turn it off and on again?" And so that's their answer to everything pretty much. But the show is about them. And there's one episode where they were like, to report a emergency or something, you dial this number, and then there was this song, and it was like 40 digits long. I don't know, it was really funny.
It's 112. It's
not
911. It's 112.
112.
Yes. So in case you're ever in Europe and you need emergency services, dial 112.
What do you think 911 is to them? Like, do you think that it's a number, or is it just
911?
The number that you've... Sorry.
Nick, I'm going to say, I want to bring this up. We found out, I guess on our trip down to San Antonio this year, that you and I have a common thing that we like, and that's Homestar Runner.
Yes. Yeah. Homestar Runner.
Hi, I'm Homestar Runner.
Homestar Runner.
Yeah, you'll probably why.
I think we're the only two people that know what that is.
Yeah, because I'm not in that boat.
My first experience with it, I was in high school, and that's how long ago this was, when internet was still, not still a thing, but it...
Relatively new.
Yeah. And so you'd go to websites like hamsterdance.com.
Or ratemypoo.com.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
And there
People of Walmart.com.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember Elf Bowling, the game? And
yes.
Anyway, so there's a website.
Careful, don't spill that.
There was a website called homestarrunner.com, and it was actually on our band director's computer that we were on I don't know where he was, but it was before a game.
Obviously not on his computer.
You're right. And we're watching this cartoon website thing or whatever, and I fell in love with that website. And I don't know if they still make episodes or clips or not, but I'm starting to see them on TikTok.
No, I don't. Oh, does TikTok listen to you? Is that why?
Probably so. I may have looked it up on that trip. But if you're out there and you haven't witnessed Homestar Runner, I think it's something you should.
Yeah, you might have to go on YouTube and look it up because it probably doesn't exist anymore.
But there was, well, I mean, if you've played Guitar Hero, I think Guitar Hero 2 or 3, one of the special tracks at the end, the bonus tracks. Trogdor.
Yeah. Which Jack Black's band.
Yeah, Tenacious D.
Tenacious D.
Yeah.
Did it.
And
but the Strong Bad emails were.
Yeah. The emails. What the emails?
Yeah, it was good. We spent a lot of time doing that.
He wore he had like a luchador mask and boxing gloves. Yep. Didn't wear a shirt.
Yep. I also played. Did you ever play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Dude, I just on my PlayStation 5 the other day looked it up, and you can buy it on PlayStation 5.
For real?
Played the heck out of that.
I'm talking like the old one though, like
no, where you made the roller coasters. Yes.
Yeah.
And I always made roller coasters where it would cause people to crash.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that was the best part.
And what was cool is like you could start your park as like Six Flags over in Texas, and so it would have all of the roller coasters that Six Flags had, but it was already built, and then you could add on to it. It was so much fun.
Take away that the rides
take away the top of the hill. Yeah. I mean, so many hours spent playing that game.
I would kind of do that with like Sims.
The Sims was fun. That was coming up pretty good, I guess, when I was.
What about Lemmings? Did you ever play Lemmings?
Did not play Lemmings. No, but I did play the original like Microsoft Flight Simulator 98.
I mean,
really pixelated one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked games like SimCity and stuff like that, but it always came to a point where it was like, oh, you really suck at managing the money for the city, and we're bankrupt, and you don't have money, and now this is on fire, and this, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and then I just start sending all of the natural disasters that I can.
Yeah, like hurricanes. I was going to bring up hurricanes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know why I'm thinking about this. My mind
didn't have like a Godzilla or an alien invasion on there too?
But you know, even got like earthquakes and stuff. Universal Studios. Did you guys ever go there growing up?
Yes.
When I was a senior in high school.
One of my favorite parks. Jaws was my favorite ride.
Yes.
But they had an earthquake.
It's not there anymore.
No, the lagoon. And I just recently went like back last October.
And they had the earthquake ride too.
Earthquake, yes. And like the flood came in, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Twister.
Cool. Yes. The ride's still there. So, but it's like an alien invasion, like Men in Black, I think is what it is now. It's pretty cool.
Is that what it is?
No, it's like the King Kong thing.
Yeah, it's a King Kong ride.
I don't think anymore it is. Like
no, because the Men in Black thing is
still there.
Yeah, and it's different. It's like all indoor.
Well, this one was indoor too.
But I remember what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. But I was there for Halloween Horror Nights, which is awesome. Like 10 haunted houses. You can go to all of them in a night. Like this last year was like my favorite ones, like The Last of Us. And I don't know if I was so big or not, but people kept like jump scaring me, and got a lot of anxiety about that sometimes.
About being scared?
Yeah, I love being scared.
I cannot stand that.
You love being scared?
I love it, but I get scared to death. Nope. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I would
I regress.
punch somebody. Like if something jumped up at me.
Yeah.
I probably would punch it.
Don't do that at Universal Studios.
I've worked at a haunted house before. Like there was 2 years that I did one where I was basically like a demon barber, like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
It was a fundraiser for a theater that I was involved with locally. But when I was in college, this is the only time I ever went to a haunted house as like a patron, whatever. Yeah. Outside of my hometown, there was a haunted house, and it was spooky to me just because of the location it was at. For those of you who don't know, I'm from Gilmer.
So it wasn't the Jamboree, but it was the Spookery.
Yeah, you're right.
The Booery.
The Booery.
And anyway, I took some friends from college with me to go to this because I was like, y'all, I think it'll be fun.
Do I know these friends?
A couple of them, yeah. Anyway, so we went to it.
Did Wayme Jitley go?
I don't know if he went or not. There's a picture of everybody that went. But some of these people. Anyway, there's a famous missing person. Well, it's not a famous missing person, but it's somebody disappeared from my hometown, and it's kind of a famous.
I've been
thing.
to that bank.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly
I'm talking
what
about
you're
the
talking about.
Kelly Wilson
Yes.
disappearance, and Dateline came and did a thing on it.
Still unsolved.
Yeah, still don't know. It's still unsolved, but the case, the actual trial, went way off into the deep end with what was going on. So Kelly Wilson, she disappeared in 92, I think it is, and they don't have any leads whatsoever as far as who did it or anything like that. And there's actually another podcast called Devil Town.
Yes.
That just came out last year, I think it was. Yeah, the year before last. It was
And
December
they're reinvestigating
22.
this, right?
And he's like, there's some things that they're starting to do through this podcast that are trying to help the case go along. Anyway, it's worth the listen after you're done listening to our podcast to go listen to that one. But it's really, there's so many weird things happen. Oh, but about the why this haunted house, it creeped me out, because this case took such a turn that there was rumors that this family was having a sex cult out there at their house, right? And that there was witnesses saying that the detective of the case was involved with that cult, and that she was out there and they were sacrificing babies and sacrificing her, so much that they went out and investigated, and they found a bone underneath their shed. And they went to examine it. They're like, we found a bone, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, it's true. Are you kidding me? And then it turns out it was a pig bone or something. Yeah. And so it wasn't. And so
from
it just
Stanley's or
from Stanley's, from Bodacious, because
or Country Tavern. Country Tavern's a little closer, but Bodacious is closed.
They threw the case way out there, so much that the detective was now a suspect and all this, and it just, they lost track of it and everything, and it's they still don't know what happened to her.
R&R.
Yeah.
So, do you have any ghost stories?
So
because I've got one too. I want
the haunted house thing that happens, or where the haunted house is. It's right next door to this family that was involved with this supposed satanic cult or whatever.
Yeah,
and so that's why it was creepy for those that were from that town to go to this haunted house, because it was right next door to it.
That's wild.
But anyway, what were you saying?
Okay, so I've only been on a cruise once.
Yeah, I'll never go on one unless it's an Alaskan cruise.
And I don't think I'll go again because...
Oh, I will.
I swear I saw a ghost. Legit.
Okay.
Are y'all ready for this?
I'm interested. Yeah.
Okay. So...
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
Literally. So I was in high school, and I was in band too. So the band's senior trip was to...
What'd you play?
We took a cruise. I played the nose harp.
Okay.
Yeah. What was I talking about? Ghost story.
The ghost.
Yes. Sorry.
I was going to ask if you could play Unchained Melody on your nose harp real quick. That's kind of where my mind was at. Anyway, go ahead. Cruise.
So we were senior trip. We took a cruise, and it was the cheapest, rooms you could get, Titanic, at the bottom of the boat, right?
Yeah.
So there was no windows or anything. So it gets pretty dark in that room, right? So when you shut that door and all the lights are off, it's pitch black. You can't see your fingers in front of your face, right?
Yeah.
And the only light that comes in the room is from underneath the threshold of the door from the hallway, right? And so if all the lights are off and the door opens, it's really obvious because all the light comes in, right?
Right.
So I wasn't feeling too good. I was getting a little seasick, so I went to bed early. Everybody else was hanging out, and I go lay down, and I hear the door open, but no light comes in. I was like, that's weird. And you know that feeling you get when you're not alone?
Yes.
Something's in there. And so it got to the point where I called out to my roommates, I was like, hey, is that you? Are you there? Are you there? Is that you? No one answered. And so I roll over, and I was facing the wall, and then I roll over out and so I can look out to the foyer. And I'm telling you, this room is pitch black, right? I can't see a foot in front of my face. Something blacker than everything else. It looked like it was wearing a cape, and it came up, and I saw the shoulders, and I saw the head. And it was just scooting towards me from the hallway. And then I stared at it for a good second, rolled over, flipped the lights on, and it was gone.
Yeah. If it were a Disney cruise, I'd be like, those Imagineers are great.
That's some special effects.
That is
So
some
if you think
legit
like
special
the Dementors, it's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah.
Like a Dementor.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was blacker, like darker than everything else in the room.
I hear they're the worst.
Yeah.
The Dementors.
Yeah, they are. In prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was creepy, dude. And I swear it was real. Like
I don't play with that stuff because I do believe in demons and things like that.
Yeah.
But I used to work in a morgue. Okay.
Really?
Weird piece of history.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. So, I
Were you
will
like
say-
the delivery driver?
Well, if you wanted to call it a delivery driver, we delivered the deceased from their current state to the freezers and refrigerators. So, kind of, we were one of the last delivery drivers, if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I remember, like, you walk into some rooms, man, and it was like dark. I mean, and not like just this a feeling of oppression. And I'll never forget, like, one room in particular is like the second or third run I'd ever done like that. It was by myself, and I walked into the room, and I'm like, whoa. I just felt this like heaviness, not like sadness, but just like this. I don't know. It was weird. And so, this housekeeper comes in the room, and she was like, "Oh, no." And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, we've opened the window. And so I opened the window, and she started like literally fanning towards the window. And she's like, the spirit's not left the room yet. And I'm like, holy moly. That was weird. But
That's creepy.
it was very creepy. But I really do feel like that, some of that stuff does exist.
Yeah. And I may have had like some kind of spiritual warfare going on at that time too,
Yeah.
But it was the most real thing, and I'll never forget it.
You talking about you worked for a morgue or whatever. There was a guy that was in band with me, and he may have gone on before you came to that school, but his family owned like a funeral home or whatever. And there was many times where he would like go pick up a customer and bring it over, and there's a girl that like they were dating, and she would say that I'd just joke like like they would go on a date, but their date would be like, oh, we've got to go pick up this, and so they'd like drive through McDonald's or something with the legit, customer in the back.
My job there at that particular hospital was once we had them all taken care of and stuff like that, is we called the funeral home to come get them. And so we had to shut down the bottom floor of the hospital to do that. It was kind of crazy, but anyway, yeah.
I worked at the one of the hospitals in Tyler when I was in college, but I was doing like subcontractor work. Like we were changing out all of the CRT TVs to flat screen TVs, and we'd run some Cat 5 cable, and we'd do all sorts of odd and end jobs there. And I'd have to enter through like the back of the hospital where the morgue is, and when I tell you, like, I walked really fast.
It was the same hospital I worked for. I can already tell you that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the other hospital didn't have one.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I used to work at Sam's Club.
Yeah?
Growing up.
What'd you do?
Sam's things.
Sam's things? Did you check people out?
Nothing like...
Were you the person at the
bodies.
door that checks
the badges? No.
Highlights the receipt.
So I was a cashier for a while.
Yeah.
And, man, you talk about an 8-hour shift, like around Christmas time, go away like that.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Did you ever see Employee of the Month?
No.
The movie? Oh, never mind. It takes place in like a Sam's Club, Costco type thing.
Yeah.
It's got Dane Cook in it and Jessica Simpson.
Is it
but
funny?
we had to...
It kind of is.
We had to transfer everything. And, like, there weren't any shopping bags. There's no shopping bags at Sam's,
Yeah.
And so my goal was if they showed up with one buggy, by God, it was going to go in that other buggy exactly how it was.
because those buggies were butted up to each other.
Yeah.
Like
and so, like, I basically
basket.
got paid to play Tetris all day with the 32 packs of Yoo-Hoos and giant paper towels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if the expectation is going into the store that, hey, you know what, I'm not going to get any shopping bags, then I can understand, like, not getting shopping bags when you leave. But there's a particular grocery store that I visit, and I love this grocery store, but they charge me for bags. And they're like, expect you to come in and have bags.
Yeah.
But when you leave, it's like, hey, do you want these 10-cent bags? And I was like, well, I'd like to have them for free.
Does it start with Aldi's?
No, it starts with Spud and ends with Routes.
Oh. I've never been in there.
I love that place.
Yeah.
If anybody from Sprouts is listening, free the bags, okay? Make the bags free.
I thought you were talking about Raider Toes.
But if you want to sponsor this podcast,
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. Drader Toes.
Trader
Toes.
That's Raider Tay OJ's.
See, we couldn't do that with Brookshire's Brothers because there's
No, you just say Rookshire's Bay.
Brookshire's Bay,
Brothers Bay.
Brothers Bay.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
I can't believe we're still talking
terrible.
Pig Latin.
Thanks, Jeremy.
3 episodes later. It's scare me.
Scare me trickling. Yeah, sorry. Thanks.
Or Saramy trickling. And
I would like to know what Quebec Renz
I was waiting until our name popped up.
Would wonder about free bags. How do you feel? Email us at sapspodcast@gmail.com and let us know what you think about free bags.
I'll say, there's stores like that where you expect it. There was in Walmart of all places, the self-checkout at one of the local stores here that I don't frequent this location very often, but we were in there because we were close by, and we were doing the self-checkout, and it asked you, how many bags did you use? And I thought that's kind of odd. And the worker just came over and said, just hit 0 on that. It's for some other state or location or whatever.
Yeah.
Because if you hit like 1 or 2 or whatever, it was going to charge you. Yeah.
That's wild. I keep Walmart on their toes. Yeah. I go in and I'll self-check out and I'll give them 5 stars, And then the next time that I go in, I'll give them
I think
1.
we've heard about this.
Yeah.
Deja vu.
So I heard this news story. It was around the holidays.
Which holiday?
Christmas.
Oh, I love that holiday.
The holiday. But this guy, as a joke, created a Facebook event, and it was the Walmart self-checkout employee party.
Employee Christmas party. Yeah, I saw that.
And it got huge.
Yeah. I'd go.
Thousands of people were commenting on it and stuff, and they set a location and everything. But what was so cool is that they turned it around into a toy drive.
Oh,
and so everybody brought toys and stuff, and they were able to serve so many people off of this joke that was actually really hilarious.
It was really funny.
Yeah. But then it turned out to bless a lot of people. It was
cool.
As
it was
a
neat story.
self-proclaimed Walmart self-checker outer, I would go to that party.
You didn't get invited. You didn't work hard enough.
But see, with my experience as a cashier, I love that self-check. I was like, let's go. Because I know, I know where all the UPCs are and all that.
Ryan was bagging the steaks with the chicken and didn't double bag or anything.
Yeah. So, the other problem too, and I don't do this, but I'm like, how much money are they losing? Because if somebody gets organic oranges, they're going to pay more money for those organic oranges and they just go in there and coat them as oranges.
Yeah.
Or you barely lift up some of the fruit so it doesn't weigh as much.
Yeah.
No, they also have people that will take the sticker off the ground beef and go put it on the ribeyes and, check it out that way.
I read a news article where somebody locally got caught for sticker swapping.
Yeah.
And they got arrested for that.
Well,
it's fraud.
I think you know who it is.
That did it?
Yes.
Do I really?
But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, you can just say their name in Pig Latin. Nobody knows how to speak that, so
I don't think I could even say their name in Pig Latin, unfortunately.
You hadn't been practicing enough. I was going to say about the bags. I didn't want to spend too much longer on that, but they
plastic bags.
We do the curbside pickup a lot. My wife does that a lot now, and it frustrates me that every time they put one item in one bag, and I'm like, you don't have to. You're wasting so many bags doing this.
But it's such a blessing because that's your bathroom bags.
Yeah, but I'm overflowing with them now. And we just upgraded our trash can.
There's so many things you can do with them.
It doesn't fit anymore.
Because even with dirty clothes, when you go to hotels, pack a couple of Walmart bags because they're not going to give you more than one. When
you're on a family vacation to Hawaii and you just pack all your clothes in the Walmart bags.
My grandmother has in her pantry. It's this stitched like lady.
It's okay.
That has a dress on, and at the bottom of the dress there's an opening, and it's to hold
the bags.
The bags.
My
and so
granny
if you
has
need
one,
you just pull it out.
But it's not the lady.
Pull it
it's
out of
like
her butt.
my granny's is an apple fabric knitted bag that you grab the bags out of.
Yeah, it's a bag of bags.
And I'm like, she finally ran out, and I'm like, Granny, you gotta get some more bags from the grocery store. And she's like, I haven't driven in a couple of months. And I'm like, Granny, it's been 6 years since you've driven a car.
Well, they have, they've got like a recycling bin or whatever when you walk in for those bags. And I don't know how you recycle them, but they've got a spot there. So I probably took like 500 bags one time and filled that sucker up. Because, I mean.
Did you make any money off of that?
No.
It's like 5 cents a bag. Free the bag. Maybe I need to hit that bag depository up before I go to that grocery store. So I don't have to pay 10 cents a bag. But
you
those
shop
bags
there so much. How come you don't have your own bag?
I probably ought to. But, the thing, and I've got to say this in all defense for that store. Their plastic bags are the most indestructible bags that have ever existed. I mean, they are like,
Are you talking about the grocery store or Walmart?
The grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Walmart's gotten thinner.
No, these are thick.
Yeah.
Like you could use it as a tarp.
Man, speaking of Walmart, I just thought about this. I saw a video, and it was like a video of a Walmart in like the early 90s or mid 90s or something. And man, it took me back.
Are you talking about like with the checkouts that had that little cross on it?
Yeah, the little cross. Boop. Yeah. And you didn't have like a conveyor belt.
That's really accurate.
Boop. Sounds just like it. And they're paying by check, and they just stick it in the machine and let it print.
Yep.
Speaking of checks, on that fishing trip that I went on last weekend, the one of the guys that I was with on that trip, we split the Airbnb or cost 4 ways amongst us, and he was like, "Yeah, Matt, I'm gonna I'll write you a check for that." And I'm like, "Oh, man, I'm just gonna pay you cash because
this is 2024."
Like, Chuck, let's have a conversation about checks here.
I used to write checks probably up until last year to pay bills.
Yeah.
Like to mail them off and everything. But now
auto pay.
Well, I don't auto pay ever.
Auto pay.
Because I don't want, I'm kind of like superstitious about, not superstitious, but
a little stitious.
A little stitious.
You're slightly stitious.
I'm a little worried that like.
If anybody works for the office and they want to sponsor it.
Yeah, if the office ladies would like to be a guest on our podcast or have us on their podcast, or at least me.
Can we start with Meredith? Because I feel like she doesn't get enough credit.
No, office ladies is Pam.
I thought you were talking. Oh.
No, it's
they
Pam
have
and
real
Angela.
Names.
They do.
Yeah,
but we need to get Meredith.
Jenna.
On the show.
Jenna Fisher.
What's Angela's real name?
All I know is that she went to Baylor. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, one of my former students, his mom was a roommate with her for 1 year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I just want to know how Meredith felt when she got the trash bag put over her.
When she got rabies? Because that's when she got rabies.
Speaking of rabies, like the hitchhiker and the coyote last week. Man.
I know, man.
That was nuts.
Jeez Louise. Yeah.
So back to bags.
Back to bags.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to move on from bags.
Yeah, we're moving on from bags. I just never understood paper or plastic.
Because there used to be, like, everything used to be paper bags before plastic.
Yeah.
Because, grocery stores
in
the 1950s and 60s, you didn't have a choice. Like, they had paper bags.
It's probably how are you going to use the bag when it gets home? Are you going to burn it? Because you're not going to burn the plastic.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting why that was even an option.
But it was like back in the day, too, when you walked into a restaurant, and they're like, smoking or non? Yeah. And it's like the whole restaurant smells like smoke. I mean, there's not really.
So when I worked at Sam's, they had in the break room, they had a separate break room for smoking.
Yeah. It was a thing.
And this was in the 2000s. I mean, it wasn't that long ago,
Yeah,
wow.
That's crazy.
Now everybody's vaping.
Vaping or not.
Well, here's a news story that I came up with, and not necessarily funny or anything. I just found it interesting.
Did we get any emails?
There was let me check. Hold on. Spotify. They're offering 2 free months of premium, $10.99 a month after that.
Hey, and last week you mentioned too that if we hit a certain amount of listeners, how many listeners do we need?
Let's see. Last week we were about 36 listeners away.
Yeah.
From 100, on Spotify at least. I don't know about total within Apple and all the other places that we are.
Yeah.
YouTube, iHeart, Amazon. I think that's it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So an Oklahoma judge.
I can hear you breathing, Nick.
I'm sorry. Just edit that out.
We'll edit it out.
I wish we could.
So anyway, an Oklahoma judge was caught sending hundreds of texts from the bench.
We
while
talked about that
overseeing
2 weeks ago.
a murder trial.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Uh-uh.
And it was crazy. Like, why would somebody do that?
Have you ever served on a jury?
I have.
I haven't.
Have you?
So this lady, no, actually, and I hope I don't have a
she
warrant
sent-
out for my arrest because I skipped my last jury duty.
You didn't get it deferred? Because you
still
got jury duty the same day that my wife did, and I thought that's so cool. But you couldn't do it, and neither could she.
They never sent me a message back.
Well,
and I never got another letter in the mail.
she's got hers coming up
Good.
in a little bit.
I hope I don't.
But yeah, it says that an investigation found that she was mocking the prosecutors, laughed at the bailiff's comments.
Yeah, 500 texts.
Oh, laughed at the bailiff's comment about a prosecutor's genitals, praised the defense attorney, and called the prosecutor's key witness a liar during the murder trial.
Oklahoma.
And there's video proof of it, too, that she was texting and doing all that stuff during the thing.
It's crazy.
Is she
Man.
still a judge?
No, she's not. She stepped down.
She stepped down.
Wow.
Or at least from the case. Yeah, I served on a jury panel one time. It was a juvenile case. It was a juvenile sexual assault case. It was a family on family thing.
Wow.
To juvenile and then like a younger sibling. Man, it's tough.
Tough.
Because I remember thinking that we ended up that we found him not guilty, the defendant. And it was a case of a lot of us felt like, I hate saying this, but we just felt like he was guilty, but the evidence left a whole lot of doubt in our mind that it actually happened. And, you can only find him guilty if it's beyond any reasonable doubt.
And that's hard because you have to separate yourself from and how you feel about that away from, like the evidence with that.
Yeah, and it was like a 3 or 4 day trial when I got selected, and there were other teachers on the panel with me. There was like 3 or 4, I think. And so when we just got into the deliberation room, like none of us knew what to do. They did. I mean, we knew we were deliberating, but we're like, okay, how do we do this? And like, okay, well, do y'all want to take a vote by hand? Do you want to write it down? And
like there's no step by step.
No,
they don't let you know how to do it.
They lock you in the room, and if you want access to some of the evidence or something to review something, like you knock on the door and get the bailiff to come to the door and tell them that, and they bring it to you if they can. But you can only stick to the evidence. You can't speculate or do anything like that. And you go around and like our first vote, I think it was 8 not guilty, 4 guilty. And anyway, it probably took us like a day and a half to deliberate before we came back with our verdict.
Yeah. Did you ever watch that show, Jury Duty, on TV?
Yeah, I did.
It's only
a little bit of it
in my mind.
where it was a whole fake thing, except for that one guy.
He had no idea.
He had no idea.
Went on for like, what, a week or two?
And he's like, I can't believe this stuff is happening.
Man, I know that y'all also talk about movies a lot. Don't you love that movie, A Few Good Men?
Oh, yeah. That was a good movie.
That's one of my all-time favorite movies.
I've never seen it.
Oh, my gosh.
You're kidding.
A Few Good
Men. A Few Good Men was good, and then No
Is that the
Country for
one?
Old Men.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Is
Antoine Chigurh, did you?
That's the You Can't Handle the Truth.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
Gosh, it's so good.
I've seen that scene.
Jack Nicholson's awesome.
Oh my gosh, everything
Tom
that he's
Cruise,
in.
right?
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
I haven't
Cruise.
seen
Is it
Shawshank
Kevin Bacon?
Redemption.
Kevin Bacon's in it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Green Mile.
Man,
There's a
Who
lot of
hurt you?
really good movies I haven't seen.
Who hurt you?
I've seen Dumb and Dumber.
You didn't answer my question. Who
I don't
hurt
know.
you?
I don't know. Okay,
you're missing out.
since we're talking
He
about
hasn't
movies,
seen any of the Mr. Rogers movies or the documentaries either.
I've seen the
Man.
documentary.
But you didn't watch the movie.
I haven't watched
you
the
had
movie.
it. You had it for 5 years off.
Do you want me to, Nick, do you have a DVD player out here on your porch?
A DVD player?
No.
Yeah, because it's
I
a
don't know
Netflix
if anybody
DVD.
has a DVD player.
It's still sitting in my car. I can go get it and we can play it and watch it.
After you pay, how much is that? $30,000 after 5 years of holding on to it, or is it?
No, it was $14.99.
Yeah. Wow.
But if you
for a
account for
used-
inflation, though.
For a used DVD.
Yeah.
How do you know I wasn't the first one to get that?
Because look at the scratches on it. I'm sure you didn't put
How
it
do
there
you know?
because you never took it out of the case.
I did take it out of the case. There was one day.
It's
No, I
not
didn't.
true.
You're right.
That's not true. Let's go get it right now and look and see how many scratches it has on the top of it. You know, you can't blow on the DVDs and make sure that they play well, but like those old Nintendo games, you sure could. It's good to go.
You know how you like press down the Nintendo game?
Yeah.
I saw somewhere somebody was saying that it wasn't actually intended for you to press the game down, that you're just supposed to put it in and hit power, and it's supposed to work. But I don't ever remember
The lie
that
detector
working.
test determined that's a lie.
I mean, I have one
Yeah.
that we could test it out on, but it needs cleaned real bad. It's old.
Mm.
I mean, what? That's 40-year-old technology now?
40 years old.
Wow.
Like the regular Nintendo, the NES. Yes.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah.
That's as old as me almost.
It's as old as probably the length of time it took for you to get your associate's degree. Sorry.
Ouch.
Oh.
Ouch. My bad. I shouldn't have gone there. You can edit that out.
No, we can leave that in. Because I'll say that, I was a business major for 2.5 years.
You got your
before I
honorary
switched.
doctorate. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, if I had gone out there at the normal time, if I'd left that school at the normal time, then I would have never met you.
Yeah, that's true.
And we would never have
Speaking of that,
this podcast.
I should
that
have.
really brings up one of my favorite things that I talk to people about all the time.
What?
You're one choice and decision away from a completely different life.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big or small that decision is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost walked out of my house one time and never went back to college.
Wow.
And had I not done that, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Had I
Okay.
not, I was like a super senior, so I did 5 years.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have met my now wife had
Yeah.
I not done that.
True.
So you went all the way from starting college to getting your bachelor's in 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my associates in 5.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
No, once I switched over
D
to
for
music.
diploma.
If anybody
Yeah.
from Tyler Junior College is listening, then,
Feathers up.
feathers up.
Once I switched over to music, though, I was done in 4. So, but I already had all my basics done by then. I will say this: there was a decision in my life that probably led me to this, and that was switching from business to music, which also might have had something to do with it too, which was changing a relationship at that time too.
Yeah.
Like I ended one relationship that was pretty toxic, and then started another one, and that was my life change, and that kind of set me to this path that I am right now.
Yeah.
So
Pretty good pathway.
yeah,
Well, and when you look back, it's like you see how God was at work the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool.
Hindsight's always 20/20 though when you look back.
Yeah.
You can see pretty clearly.
Now you can see pretty clear forward. You're 2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost am
Unless you need
I am.
readers for fly fishing.
Oh my
for
gosh.
fly fishing.
Y'all listen, some of those hooks.
It's so you
Are
can
so
read the
small.
instrument panel on the plane better.
Yeah.
When you're fly fishing.
Yeah, when you're fly
I
fishing.
can't fly though. We've established this.
You can fly. The plane got up in the air.
Yeah, but
You just can't land.
no.
I wonder what it's like.
So
flying a
anybody from
helicopter.
Airbus that wants to provide an air flight simulator for an A320neo, by all means,
Yeah.
support this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
I would love a flight simulator.
Dude, the nicest plane I've ever been on, we were going on vacation to Cozumel, and it was the Boeing Dreamliner,
Oh,
787 Dreamliner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, usually you get on a plane, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm just ready to get off.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, this thing is
Who did you
nice.
fly with?
It was
American.
American.
See, yeah, Americans, I'm an American flyer. Will is a United flyer.
I am.
And,
Southwest has come in clutch lately, too.
I'm glad
Yeah.
that we're united, that we're American.
Yeah, we
patriots.
are.
Yeah.
Did you see that the new Southwest seats are going to have a spot where you can like hang your phone or whatever on the
iPad
seat back in
stuff,
front
yeah,
of the
it's pretty
iPad?
cool,
Yeah.
Popped up on
And I
my
thought, or they could just put the screen up there for you.
I don't know. I like using my own.
I like my device because I can download the movies I want to download.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I do appreciate is that United and Southwest on their, when you use their free Wi-Fi and use their app, whatever, they have like TV shows and movies already in there.
Yeah. America does too.
Both of them have had at least 1 or 2 seasons of The Office on there, so
American
I could watch them
too.
And help me calm my nerves.
It's AAinflight.com.
Yeah.
Just plug that in when you get on the plane and boom.
Yeah, as soon as we landed, though, I tried to see if I could still watch it because I don't have a Peacock subscription.
Yes, you do have a Peacock subscription. If you have the Walmart Plus, you've got a free
I don't have Walmart Plus.
Oh, I thought that's how you got your.
No, I do have Verizon. I thought they had something with that, but I had never.
Do you get free
it out.
bags with Walmart Plus?
Well, apparently, because he gets one bag per item.
1 bag per item. You're right.
Deodorant bag.
Oh, it makes me so
Mouthwash
mad.
bag.
Like
Chicken
grocery shopping,
bag.
and we got like 60 extra bags now. Like, great. This is probably terrible. I end up just throwing away half of them.
Wow.
You don't get an air pocket and pop them real loud? I do that all the time.
No, I hadn't done that.
And then you throw them away because then they got a hole in them.
No, they don't work now.
Yeah.
You got a hole in 2 holes in them because they already had.
It's like during COVID with the masks that had the hole in the middle.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest thing.
During COVID is when the only time I've ever had my groceries delivered, where I'd send somebody out or whatever. They would Instacart was what I used, and I used it like 3 times, and they'd just come in and they'd like drop the groceries off at my door.
Did you sanitize the bags before?
No,
you
I didn't.
I bet you did.
I didn't. But they washed my hands right after though. But one time they left the receipt in the bag from like the store.
Yeah.
And that's the time that I decided I wasn't ever going to use that.
How much
again.
difference in cost was it?
Oh, it was like $40. Like
extra.
Yeah. Like the receipt was $40. And I'm not talking like, okay, the delivery fee or the taxes or whatever.
Each item was more expensive.
Each item was more expensive because, they'd be on sale and they'd use their card or whatever.
I think DoorDash does that too sometimes too.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like the menu prices for certain
different.
things.
Yeah. And then they charge you, the delivery fee may be free, but then the taxes and fees still has fees in it. And it's like you're paying $8 extra.
Per item.
But I will take DoorDash or Waiter or whatever. It's not Waiter anymore. It's ASAP and Uber Eats and all that stuff. I'll do that a lot just so I don't have to get out of the house. I'm like,
I get lazy sometimes. I'm like, somebody else will bring this to me.
Well, and the way I think of it too is like, if we're going somewhere down on the other end of town and it's like a sit-down restaurant or something, generally we're going to have a glass of wine or a couple of beers or something, and we have those at home, so they'll deliver it, and it's about the same cost that we spent if we were going
And
out.
you don't have to be like that guy that called the police because he was intoxicated.
Because he was intoxicated.
Driving
You're
home.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question for y'all.
Okay.
Let's go with music.
Okay.
And Ryan, actually, you came up with this question. Why don't you ask it?
So we were talking last week about like what movie made you cry last. Okay. We all have our different artists. So what music has kind of inspired some emotion within you that you're like, man, I really just relate to this song or this artist? Nick, why don't you start?
So I think last week I talked about my dad, a lot of memories with my dad. And growing up, we listened to a lot of classic rock, like 70s, Chicago, that kind of stuff. And there's a couple of songs by the Doobie Brothers. We were talking Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald, I was about to say that too.
That I grew up listening to. I mean, like, there's home videos of me back, when we had camcorders and stuff, running around dancing to the Doobie Brothers. And so every now and then I'll hear, one of their songs and it sparks that memory. And that's when I get a little emotional because it's related to, to my dad. But I'd say, Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers, man.
Michael.
That's
Any
awesome.
particular song?
Not really. It's just random, So I mean, and I think that happens too. Anytime you lose a loved one, it's like someone told me it was at his visitation. I will never forget this, and I don't mean to go, be all morbid and all that, but they were, talking to us and stuff, and they said, "You don't get over it, you get through it."
Yeah, you're right.
And so you're always going to have those moments, But Yeah, so it's just random, you know, but a lot of that classic rock stuff that I grew up listening to, that's what sparks some emotion in me. But it'd be songs that you wouldn't think that would, you know.
Like China Grove.
Yeah, China Grove, Rocking Down the Highway, you know, that
Right.
kind of stuff that obviously isn't meant to be emotional, but
Yeah.
Or Blackwater.
yeah, Rush, like we grew up listening to Rush
yeah,
a lot,
Rush.
so
I'd probably say mine. I've always really liked
Evanescence.
My Immortal. I know there's a classical piece, Rhapsody in Blue by Gershwin.
Yeah.
And I've heard it numerous times or whatever, but it always brings me back now to a certain moment in my life. And mine's kind of, obviously we're talking about what made you cry, so it's going to be a sad moment, I guess. But I was on my way to Dallas to be with my family. We just found out that my grandfather had passed away, and we talked about that show on Apple now, the Masters of the Year. Is that the name? Yeah. And I was asking you about what planes they flew. My grandfather flew B-24 during the war, did bombing missions over Germany, and did some stuff in the Pacific too after that. And anyway, I was driving up to Dallas to be with my dad and the rest of our family that was already there. We just got word that my grandfather had passed away. And as I was coming in, when you come into Terrell, their municipal airport is right there by the interstate, and sometimes you'll see planes flying over. In fact, I see it a lot. I don't know if there's a flight school there or not. But I don't know, that song was on, and I was listening to it, and this plane was flying right over the interstate at that time, and it was just almost like, I don't know, like a sign from him or something, because I'd always really enjoyed that song. But I don't know, it just made me really emotional, and I don't know, every time I hear that song I think back to that moment now and think of him. And I listen to the song a lot. I mean, I really do. I don't know what it is about the song. I love it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ryan?
That's cool. Well, mine is like not, of course there's a lot of, and I think this guy like kind of helped me through a lot of this with,
Okay, wait,
situation.
hold on. Before you get started, it makes me think of this thing we talked about last week too. The what's that song that we were talking about, the Elvis movie?
Unchained Melody.
Yeah, does that count?
No.
Because I cried during that technically.
I think it was the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
The transition.
Yeah.
Which, I think
Elvis
Nick
transition?
owes us a rendition of that on the nose harp, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to take over.
No. Ben Rector. You ever heard of him?
Who?
Ben Rector.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've heard of Bend Over.
Wonderful musician. And so, like, he's got all these, like, happy songs most of the time. But his songs are, like, about real life. And, I think a lot of people's music is, which, it's cliche, whatever. But anyway, Ben Rector has a few songs, and one of them that, like, really left an impression on me is, like, The Men That Drive You Places. Of course, I'm not trying to get into a sappy story with mine, but, of course, my dad left when I was younger and all that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of, I guess, turmoil with that, But one of the songs that he has is Men That Drive You Places. And you listen to the song, and he's talking about these guys that literally like have driven like Ubers or taxi cabs, like from him to, from his hotel to the music venue and stuff like that. And like one of the things that he sings and talks about is it kind of tells you about their life story, about how like we don't take the time to get to know these people that we experience. We talked about last week, people that we experience in everyday life. And so anyway, some of the things too, like one of the songs that he has is like When a Heart Breaks, and that's a beautiful song. And I think that was the last song that I listened to that really kind of got me upset, because it's like all these things that we go through in our life, this love, loss, all this kind of stuff. One of the things that he says in the lyrics is, this isn't easy, this isn't clear, And I mean, it's just, he talks about these moments, how, they're heart-wrenching, they're upset, but you won't know about that until you're here, like in this moment, And so, it really takes into account like all this loss. But the Men That Drive You Places, I mean, he's talking about one guy as a taxi cab driver because he's trying to, work extra to put his daughter through like school to be a doctor, that kind of stuff. And it's just really, really cool, how people's stories like are a culmination of who they are. So,
you say that, you run into these, people that, like an Uber driver or something, or maybe it's somebody that's working at like the Taco Bell drive-through, and like I do this thing. It's something I always do is they they're like hey, how are you? I'll always ask hey, how are you today?
Yeah.
And thank you very much after they're done taking our order, and and I don't. Sometimes it just comes off as oh, it's just something people say, but no, I genuinely hey, how are you today?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing I've started practicing, and there's a guy that I was it was a band parent, like one of the schools that I used to be at, and so we went to Disney World, and he was talking to every single person that worked there, and he was using their first name, and I was like, man, what are you doing? And he was sitting there, and he's like, well, research has proven that the sweetest thing that you'll ever hear, the thing that you will draw your mind out, and just kind of automatically collect attention is calling somebody by their first name. Like you can see, say grill, fan, heater, Will,
yes,
blow dryer, flag, Nick, and your name is the first thing that's going to pop out. And so he's like, if you call somebody by their first name, and you say, hey, how are you doing? I hope you're having a really good day today. He's like, that act will cause almost everybody to smile, know? And so what I started noticing that every time he did that, like people were like happy, and they were smiling and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, hey, Jill, thank you so much for letting us have a safe ride today. I mean, it was really cool being in the moment.
I was told one time the classiest person in the room is the one that makes the most people feel comfortable.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, talking about Ubers, and I think I've told y'all this story before. Y'all ever had a crazy Uber ride?
No, but I think you have.
Or a very memorable
this
one?
is where this is going.
I think this is where this
it is.
The emphasis of this story is going.
So I had like a 10-game season package for the Dallas Stars. Actually, it got cut short because of COVID. Yeah. I was there at the last game they played.
Didn't you used to go with
down.
Lamb Sabortis?
Yeah, used to. But my friend I used to work with, he moved up to Dallas, and he's a hockey fan. He's from New York, so we'd always go to the New York Rangers Dallas Stars game. And then one year we were like, he really just enjoys hockey, so we would do.
I almost stopped him like it's the Texas Rangers, and then I realized it was ice hockey.
Yeah,
sorry.
Anyway, so I used to park at his condo, and not condo, but his apartment, and
Deep Ellum.
Yeah, Deep Ellum. Yeah. And I would eat at a restaurant over there, and then I'd either scooter or take a Uber over. One time I walked.
Pause. Which restaurant in Deep Ellum?
Revolver Tacos.
Oh man, there's a lot of them. There's
Revolver
Tacos, Pecan Lodge, Terry Black's.
Did you ever go to the Green Man?
No.
Or the Free Man. Sorry, the Free Man. Yeah.
No, I went to Monkey King Noodle Company. Also Pepe Mitos.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of
There's a lot of good restaurants on there. Anyways, keep going.
Park at the condo.
So, this time I didn't want to scooter back. I decided to take an Uber, and I got into this Uber, and the guy was like, we were just making small talk, and he's like, what do you do for a living? And I said, oh, I'm a band director. And he's like, really? You like music? And I said, yeah. And he's like, anything in particular? And I was like, no, I pretty much like it all because I do. And he said, well, I've got a banjo ukulele here, or maybe it was just a ukulele, but you want me to play you a song? And I was like,
wait, while he was driving?
While he was driving.
Oh my God.
I mean, it wasn't that far of a drive, so I was just thankful he even picked up the ride. So I couldn't believe what was happening. Y'all ever seen the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No.
Russell
Crowe?
No.
I have seen A Few Good Men, though.
Is it Russell Brand? Is that his name? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's Russell Brand. He plays the character Aldous Snow, who is like this rock star dude or whatever, and he has this song, and maybe it's not appropriate. I want to play it anyway. Anyway, so he starts singing this song from the movie, and I recorded it, and I'll see if I can get it to play on here. It's not very long.
It just...
Inside you, how I long to be, is it wrong to be?
Anyway, I was like, is this real life? Is this really happening to me?
And it really happened.
And it sounds
was it a red light or was he driving?
No, I was about to say, it sounds like he's driving.
You can hear the car driving. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was he like driving with his knees?
I don't know. I was in the back seat.
Oh.
I mean, I would be paying really close attention to how he was driving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was bracing, just in case
Yeah.
something went crazy. But no, it was pretty memorable.
Bracing for impact.
Ryan, what's the craziest thing you've seen someone do while they're driving?
Craziest thing I've seen somebody do while they're driving? Oh,
Hit a cow.
yeah, that. But I don't know. There's a lot. Like driving charter buses, there's a lot. The wildest thing I think, I mean, I was really shocked by a lady that was like,
No, it's somebody sticking their head out of a window yelling into a radio.
yeah, that
For a
was
TikTok.
crazy. But
On the
yeah,
the
there
toll
was a
road.
lady. There was a lady that was like full out doing her entire makeup while we're driving down to Orlando on Interstate 75, and I was like, oh my gosh. There was another time I just thought it was really funny, but this old Chevrolet Jimmy, like the old little SUV type vehicle. It wasn't the one with the like rounded headlights. It was the square body headlights. Okay, was like driving up to this like 18-wheeler that was parked, and I'm like, dude, you don't need to do that because these are like manual vehicles and they're going to roll back a little bit. Don't do this. And this was on Interstate 75 as well, and so I was with Blair Blankenship. And driving that band back from Florida, and I was like, hey, this truck's fixing to roll all over the front of this little Chevrolet Jimmy there. And as soon as traffic started moving, sure enough, you're like, that dude is done for a little while. So that was pretty crazy.
Nick, I think it's that time of the podcast where we didn't do this last week because we knew you were going to stick around for another week with us. It's been a great week. that we've had
it
too.
really has. I appreciate y'all.
So the question that we asked our first guest, and we're going to ask all our guests this question, and if you'd like to title this segment, not come up with a question, but title this segment, email us at sapspodcast.
Carl Keene, thank you for reaching out, aka Chris Clifton, for reaching out to us on our last.
You mispronounced it. It's supposed to be
Chris Clifton.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Risque.
Yeah, thanks
Also,
for reaching
Carl
out.
King, you got the K's backwards.
Carl King, sorry.
That's better.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, reach out.
All right. So, Nick, here's the question. How would you describe your perfect Sunday afternoon?
Perfect Sunday afternoon.
The best one ever.
So,
Or how you spend every Sunday afternoon outside of
perfect
today.
Sunday afternoon. Huh. That is good because I remember you guys asking Scare Me Trickling.
Yeah.
That one too. Which I was really impressed with his answer because he does a really good job of unplugging and unwinding before the week. I really like that.
Yeah.
That sounds like a direct quote.
Yeah.
Unplugging and unwind. From what he said? Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Perfect Sunday afternoon, man. So probably go to church and then come back. And we usually like to we'll cook a big breakfast after church, so do a big breakfast. I grew up grandma making big old breakfast, with biscuits and gravy and sausage and all that. And then usually if it's in the fall, you're watching, Dallas Cowboys. And this time of the year, I'm finding whatever golf tournament's on. Maybe
Well, if you're watching the Cowboys in the fall, at least they're winning.
True. Yeah.
It's the winter.
It's the winter. They can't do anything. And then followed by maybe a nap. Naps are good on
Naps
Sundays.
are wonderful.
Yeah. If the weather's nice, maybe go play some golf. And then at that point, we're trying to get ready for Monday. We like to kind of get a meal plan for the week, just so we don't eat a bunch of junk food like we talked about last week. And then get some laundry done and get ready for the week. I mean, that's kind of my typical Sunday. Like my perfect Sunday, I wouldn't have to go to work the next day.
Yeah.
Those summer Sundays are special.
Yeah, but
Speaking of that, I don't have to go to work this week.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
um,
Wait, this week
Yeah.
at all?
No. Well, no, Monday.
Yeah, I was going to say Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, my perfect Sunday would be when the weather's just a little bit warmer than it is right now. We spend a lot of time outside, so we'll camp out on our patio and just
tent camp or just like
just full out. Yeah. And just get some fresh air and kind of just relax. That's what the Sabbath is for, right? Is
right.
for relaxing and being with your family. And
when you said take a nap, so what do y'all, when you take a nap on a Sunday afternoon, is it usually like in front of the TV and you didn't plan on it, it just happened, or do you like, all right, I'm full on, I'm gonna go take a nap?
I usually nap on the couch. Like if I rarely nap like in bed.
Yeah, I nap in my recliner.
It's the same thing. I'm on the couch, but like, is there anything in particular on the TV that seems to always put you?
Growing up,
Dallas Cowboys losing.
Growing up, it was NASCAR, man.
Yeah,
Because my dad,
I was about to say that too.
We were huge NASCAR. We used to have season tickets to Texas Motor Speedway.
Wow.
Long live number 3, old Dale Earnhardt.
That's right. I was watching that race.
I went too.
I would too.
Yeah. And
it always seemed like with the nap with the NASCAR race, it's like I would see the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 laps, let it get going, and then I'd nap, and then I'd tend to wake up with like 10 laps left or something to catch the end. And everything else that happened in between was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I grew up 20 minutes away from the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's
cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Boogity,
I got a
boogity,
funny
boogity.
Boogity boogity boogity.
That's it. I got a funny NASCAR story after this, but just resting, I think, is the biggest thing for me, because you go so hard during the week, and then usually we'll have plans on Saturdays with family or friends or something, and then Sunday's kind of our day to just be home and reset.
Yeah, I've got some friends that just relocated over to somewhere over in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia or something like that. They work for the oil company or something. Yeah, it might be, but I don't think it is. But they said something like, and I'm probably getting this wrong, that like their work week starts on a Sunday. So like Saturday is like their Sunday.
Is their Sunday.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's weird.
Which I've always thought it was weird to think of Sunday the first day of the week. I've never been able to.
Yeah.
Monday's always the first day of the week for me.
Yeah.
That's how I think of it.
I'm not going to digress down this road, but, there's been a debate about our calendar actually being wrong.
Yeah.
Like there was supposed to be 13 months. And it took me a while. But
Really?
Yeah.
And every month's supposed to have 28 days.
But think about this, okay? September. Sept.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah. October. Oct.
Yeah. Like an octopus has 8 legs.
Yeah. So, where are the other months at? The calendar originally had like 13 months with 28 days.
Yeah.
And most ancient calendars have like 13 months, the equivalent of 13 months in like 28 days. But anyway, I digress.
So did you ever go to a race at Bristol?
No.
So
my family went crazy over it.
Yeah, so we were huge NASCAR fans growing up. Huge NASCAR fans.
Who's your favorite driver?
It was Tony Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah. Bobby Labonte, Tony Stewart.
Don't say Jeff Gordon.
We were not Jeff Gordon fans.
Thank you, Lord.
Jimmy Johnson, we hated him and Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but we just did.
So there was a
Jeff
house
Gordon was
in
my favorite.
Johnson City.
I'm not
right outside of,
He would. You would.
I know.
You would just to make me mad.
You either love him or hate him.
And I hate him.
I actually
Jeff,
have.
I'm sorry. I don't know you as a person, but I'm sure we wouldn't.
I actually
if you
have
want to
a
be on
signed.
the podcast, just
no,
send us a message.
Don't send us an email. Just,
My grandmother got me a signed Monte Carlo of Jeff Gordon, so I have his autograph
wow, that's terrible.
on like a one of those model cars,
Yeah, like a die-cast model or whatever.
It's got his signature on it.
That was such a nice gift from her, but
Yeah, but we had season tickets, right? Do we have time for this story?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we would hit every race that would come through Texas Motor Speedway for years.
Yeah.
And my first experience, I don't remember how old I was. I was maybe like 12. Okay. And this was when NASCAR was huge, right? Yeah. And so you get there, and this was pre 9/11. Like, you could bring whatever you wanted. So like people brought coolers into this race.
I was one of those people. That was my first,
Yeah. And so we got to our seats, and man, I'm talking, we were sitting like this. It was like knees together, shoulder to shoulder, packed, like people everywhere. And of course, everybody's drinking. Everybody's drinking, right? And so, and those races are long.
Yeah. And loud.
And loud. Yes, very loud. And so the race is over. Everybody gets up to leave. Well, this old guy, he's been sitting here, hadn't gotten up for 3.5 hours, been putting them back left and right, okay? Stands up for the first time in 3.5 hours and proceeds to fall like 4 rows of bleachers down I mean, and he's like probably 56 years old. Like we were like, oh my gosh, is he okay? Falls, spills his beer everywhere. Everyone's like, oh my gosh.
He got up and he was fine, I bet.
He gets up, he's fine. First thing he does, cracks him another one. and then they walk on out.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, it was like,
yeah, he's got to drink off the pain.
yeah. I mean, but we
So
had such a good time at those races, man. It was a lot of fun.
The first one I went to was at Texas Motor Speedway, but I think it was so close and it was such a thing that it was just like, you know, the stigma of like having to go to the race wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I lived 5 minutes from First Monday in Canton, and like we never went.
Yeah.
I've been
never-
one time
I went
in my life.
I went one time to First Mondays, or that's what it's called, right? First Mondays.
Monday Fridays.
We went on a Monday. Have you ever been on a Monday?
Yeah,
Is there no one there?
It's closed.
they're shutting it down. Yeah,
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever been. Like, why do y'all call it First Mondays?
because it happens
it's
the weekend before the first Monday.
Oh.
The
So
weekend
that's what
before,
they should call it.
not the first
They
Monday.
should call it the weekend before
Weekend
First
before
Mondays.
sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went on a Monday and there was nothing, and so disappointed. And like, what?
At least there's, you know, the Dairy Palace. You could go have
You're right.
hamburgers.
Get
That's
you
the
that
only time I've ever
bison
been.
burger there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good.
I've never been to a NASCAR race.
Yeah,
So
they're
I've never been
It's
to
fun.
any car race. I want to go to the Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
F1 races are
Yeah.
That'd be
crazy.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think we've reached the end of another awesome episode. Nick, thank you so much
Yes,
for taking time out of your
I
day
appreciate y'all
to
asking me back, and this was a lot of fun. And
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't nap during our podcast.
yes,
On this perfect
I did.
Sunday.
I may have on the first or second episode, but
that's okay.
Listen.
You mean last week?
no, listening
The
to
first
the
episode that you
listening
set
to
in
the
on,
first
or the first one you listened to?
first one I listened to.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Well, I do want to tell our viewers, like, it's okay
Listeners.
to give us, thank you, listeners. I'm still getting used to this. It's okay to leave us a review and comment on what you liked, what you didn't like, and, you know, rate us and all that. And if you want to send us an email, if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast at some point,
The
send
porch
us-
is open. We've got an extra chair.
We've always got an extra chair open. We only have so many microphones, but we have an extra chair
Yeah,
open. If you bring your own microphone, we just ask that you have your own headset.
headphones too. Yeah,
Yeah, headphones. Yeah.
we don't
So,
share.
We don't share them.
Well,
Nick, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Sunday.
Yes,
to
thank
be
you
with
for
us.
bringing me back. It was awesome to do 2 weeks in a row. That's
Yeah.
that's a record.
It is a record.
It's a record
We've
for us,
never
too.
had a guest come right back to the episode.
back
to
to
back.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Maybe we
Back
could
to
be
back.
back to back
back to back, to
Maybe
back,
so.
to back.
Y'all have to tune in and listen.
This might be a new record.
it might be.
We're like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
except better.
We might. Yeah, we keep winning.
No doubt. Well, as the sun sets on another Sunday afternoon porch sitting, we appreciate you sharing this laid-back journey with us.
Until next time, stay relaxed and enjoy the simple moments.